Have you ever had a near-death experience? Or perhaps someone you know may have had a near-death experience? Well, if so, we would love to hear your story and have you as a guest on our podcast. For more information, visit NDE.world. Again, that's NDE.world. We would love to hear your story.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the NDE World Podcast.
Okay, welcome back to the studio. I am your host, Ashton Lewis, with my lovely assistant, Miss Daphne Lynn. You're listening to NDE World, and today we're going to take a look at the actual influence that religion and culture actually has on NDEs. And today we're going to look at the actual top 10 examples of different cultures and religion and their NDEs to see how they vary. There are some common elements, of course, and then there's actual those, that makes them specific to that religion, and you can see the religious influence. So let's just jump into it. So now, number one on our list is going to be the actual Western NDEs. All right. Now, in Western cultures, the NDEs often involve descriptions of a bright light, a tunnel, a feeling of floating or the out-of-body experience, encounters with deceased loved ones, and a life review, etc. We've covered this in our previous podcast. Number two on the list, and feel free anytime you want, Miss Daphne, just feel free to tune in or chime in or
Ding!
Yeah, and any input is more than welcome. Okay.
Sure will.
Number two on our list is Hinduism. Okay, now in Hinduism, the NDEs can be seen as encounters with deities such as Yama, the god of death, and are often linked to the idea of reincarnation. Number three, Buddhism. In Buddhist NDEs, individuals may report experiencing a profound sense of peace and enlightenment, with the possibility of entering a state of nirvana.
Yeah.
Number four, Islamic NDEs. Islamic NDEs are shaped by Islamic beliefs, and individuals may encounter angels or Allah. There is a strong focus on the afterlife and the weighing of one's deeds. Number five, Native American NDEs. Indigenous cultures in North America often describe NDEs involving spirit animals, journeys to the spirit world, and communication with ancestors. Number six, Chinese culture. Chinese NDEs may involve visiting the quote-unquote city of the dead and encountering ancestors or deceased relatives. There's also a strong belief in reincarnation.
Mm-hmm. You see that in a lot of Yeshua's teachings in different books that are not in the Bible.
Absolutely, reincarnation. He taught, the Jesus, or the Yeshua, of course. We want to use that Hebrew name, but the one that was pre-church created. The Catholic Church created the modern day Jesus. But that particular one was definitely different than,
Mm-hmm.
And he did teach reincarnation.
I see the religious aspect of all the NDEs is a direction to the one, the source energy. And no matter where you are born, you're going to have your cultural and religious beliefs, and that is part of the source energy. It's his way of bringing people to, I say him, but it is a masculine and feminine.
I understand. That's why I say it. The source.
Yeah, that source energy is bringing people to it. And it's beautiful to know that there are if you really dig in and do the research on this. I'll take the top 2 or 3 religious groups out there. Say Hinduism, Krishna, or Mohammed, Yeshua in the Western, Buddha,
pardon the
and
interruption.
Lao Tzu in the Eastern and Japan. So
Please, pardon the interruption, and mention that again because I was talking. When you said Yeshua, for those people who don't know who Yeshua is, this is
okay.
AKA Jesus. Okay.
Okay.
So more specifically, Christianity as a religion in the NDEs, those would be the ones who see Jesus. Because they okay. So if you would, go ahead and continue. I just want to make that comment in case they didn't know who Yeshua was.
Okay, so let me start over.
No, not at all. Just go ahead and continue with what you're doing.
Okay. So the top ones in religious areas, Krishna, Hinduism, Muhammad, Yeshua, aka Jesus.
Right.
In the Christian religion. Then you have, your Buddha and Lao Tzu and just different areas of the earth.
Correct.
That there is religion taught. It all leads to the source. No matter what your religious beliefs are, when you have that NDE, you are connecting to that source, that oneness.
And that source will appear to you the way it needs to for you.
Exactly.
In a way that you will understand and relate to it.
Yeah, and I'm going to tie in here at this point just some really beautiful sayings for those that follow the Christian way, for those that follow the Hinduism. This is coming straight out of a book, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, and Lao Tzu, the parallel sayings.
Right.
I found this very interesting, the section of I am. It is absolutely almost parallel word for words. I mean, you see the point that they're driving here. And Yeshua, Jesus' words, taken from the Gospel of Thomas. I am the light which is upon them all. I am the all. All things came from me, and all things return to me. Okay.
This is the source.
That is source right there. That's Jesus'
that
words.
we're talking about. The consciousness.
That's Jesus' words. Okay, continuing on with another one of his sayings from another book. I am all existence. I am mother, father, child. Whether moving or unmoving, that I am. All that exists in me. I am the womb of life. I am the invisible one who dwells in all things. I mean,
right.
This is Jesus now speaking, as the source energy.
Because absolutely, the Christ consciousness.
The Christ consciousness.
And not to, pardon the interruption, not to get too far ahead of ourselves or too off track, should I say. People also need to understand what Christ is, okay? Christ is the consciousness, the God, or this consciousness, but not that. It's not when you speak of Jesus Christ, okay. That if this being, this person gets you to the source, okay, that is that source. That's what it takes for you to get to the source. But then, by all means, go that way. Okay.
Right, and that's where I'm leading to this.
Hold that. Okay, but I'm interested. But my point is that his name was not Jesus Christ. Okay, his mother and father was not Mary and Joseph Christ.
Right.
Jesus, or Yeshua, he was able to obtain this level of consciousness that we're talking about, like in these NDEs and things like that. That Christ consciousness, that God's source, that power. He was, like us, but he was able to obtain that level.
Yes, as was Krishna.
And Krishna,
because
and
in the
Buddha, and all these were all spiritual men, and literally thousands of beings have reached that level of consciousness that we're talking about in these NDEs.
Yeah, and these two major characters in religion lived thousands of years apart. So Krishna goes back way before Jesus ever came in, and Krishna was himself called Krishna consciousness, as was
Christ
consciousness.
Correct.
So it is the unity, that one source for all things.
A little side note here. There's so many ways, and I would never take anything as absolute, because we really don't know what happens on the other side. We've got stories, we've got experiences, but who knows? We really don't know. There's a couple of ways, and I was going to mention that earlier, ways to look at this. Like I said, things are what they are. You can accept these as belief systems or not, but we really don't know, right?
Right. And who are we to push any belief system on another?
Correct. And you never ever want to condemn somebody else's belief system.
Exactly.
That works for them. You should love everybody, regardless of their belief system. But people use everyone's belief systems as a form of division, to divide each other, even to kill each other over, because why? They believe they want to believe. Yeah, that's
horrible.
What
the Catholic Church did.
So let's look at these characters, Christ and Krishna. Now, there's a couple of approaches to look at this. Now, I've heard from different sources that the Jesus or the Christ of the Bible was created. We know he was, as far as that one, the Jesus of the Bible, but that he was also his characteristics. A lot of that was actually taken from Krishna and taken from these other elements of, like,
Other
Mithra and all this, that he
exactly.
was Osiris and Horus. I mean, whoever that.
They
he was
combined all the religions to unite.
Right, absolutely. So, that's a whole different subject. But in another side of the coin, or another view, or another perspective that I've also heard, is that they're both the same being. That the source sends out these great teachers, okay? And they come out, they're here to teach us the way, okay? In fact, Christianity didn't even exist in the time of Jesus or Yeshua. And in fact, if he was here today, he'd have no clue what Christianity is, okay? That even the name itself was termed hundreds of years afterwards, but he was called. They were all part of the way, okay? And the way has been around since the beginning of time. There is a way to walk, a way to live, a way to love, a way to treat others. There is the way. Jesus, Yeshua, walked in the way, okay?
As did Krishna.
And Buddha. So
and
all of
many
these
others.
So I've even heard that these were the same person reincarnated. Once they reached that level of teacher, spirituality wise,
they get to come back as teachers.
They can come back as teachers, and so I've even heard that. So I really don't know. I don't know if this was real characters. There's that possibility they weren't real characters. There's the possibility that there were real characters. There's a possibility that one influenced the other. There was possibility that one was taken from the other. There's a possibility that it's the same. There's a possibility that one was reincarnated as the other. So we really don't know. But these teachings are, as you are showing us here by example, are almost word for word. So what is it? It's that consciousness.
Yes,
it is. And that consciousness manifests itself in human form.
And that's what leaves us, our consciousness, and
we
regains that and meets back up with that source.
Correct.
That united, that oneness.
Absolutely.
That's spoken of so many times throughout different religious doctrine.
Yeah. And we are consciousness, should I say, or spiritual beings having a physical experience in these bodies, So wonderful. If you don't mind, do you have a few more of those? I think some really good sayings. If you want to share a few more with our listeners, and then we'll go ahead and move on to some more of these, these cultural and religious NDEs.
Another one from Krishna. I am knowledge contained within the soul.
Okay.
That's beautiful right there.
Yeah.
Because when we have that, those that have had the NDEs, I say we, like I'm having one, but the NDEers, that soul that goes on, he is that knowledge, and that knowledge is downloaded to the people that have the NDEs. So I am time that never ends. Time slowed down in the NDE. I am the creator. He sees his creation. The NDE are seeing the source, his loved ones. I am death, the end of all things, and I am the source of all that will yet come to be. So that's a Krishna saying. I mean, is that not absolutely beautiful when you think about this, the one source, that all, that energy that is within each of us, that knowledge is contained in us because we're part of him.
Absolutely.
And when we have crossover, we will gain that knowledge back. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, and from what I understand, from my knowledge and understanding, and I've read tons and tons and tons of books and things on this subject. I've been doing this for 40 plus years. It's amazing when you really start to get into it and you realize that, if what I'm sharing with you is from reliable sources, let me set up a disclaimer. From what I understand, you'll have to look into it yourself. I've looked into the gospel of the Nazarenes, okay? And
yes, good reading.
this is, from what I understand, supposed to be one of the books that preceded the Bible before the church got a hold of it, before, Constantine and, the Council of Nicaea around 325.
One of the oldest writings.
Yeah, when they was putting together all this. Well, actually, the Council of Nicaea was had to do with Arianism, the question of, is Jesus a man? Is he one of us, a highly spiritual man, or is he God in the flesh? So they chose and created, the Jesus today that, he is God in the flesh, and he's the only way to get to the source. And that's not true. It's simply not true. That's fear and power and control behind that machine. But if you look into the Gospel of the Nazarenes, what's supposed to be like the original Hebrew Matthew, that was supposed to be written by the original apostles or disciples, should I say, of the early way, okay? This is pre-Christianity. And so they were, like I said, they were called the Way. However, the actual Gospel of the Nazarenes, it gives us a Yeshua. Like I said, this was pre-Christianity, so it's not Jesus, but it's who the Jesus character was built on, from what I understand. That he taught a lot about reincarnation and having to come back and to redo these things, just like a lot of these Christianity is the only religion in the world, from what I understand, that does not teach reincarnation. That I believe that every other one does.
Every other religion
and
does,
that the original Jesus, or the real Yeshua, did teach reincarnation.
Yes, I'm going to comment on that with you because I have read the Gospel of the Nazarenes, and I highlighted a section at the back of the book strictly on his teachings on reincarnation, regeneration, rebirth. There were tons and tons of scriptures that have been taken out of the Bible. But this isn't a Bible religious podcast right now. We are actually talking NDEs. So it all ties to the source. This people come from the source to express how to live.
Absolutely.
How to love.
And it's kind of sort of where I was taking the long way around to get to, but thank you for getting there quicker.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
but that's the point. Absolutely. You know, that these NDEs, and not just that, but our lives are so influenced by religion and by culture that it actually bleeds over into our consciousness and our near-death experience. That's why some see Jesus, some see Krishna, some see this, and that's the point of this particular episode, is the influence of culture and religion, on the NDE.
Yes,
Any comment?
I've been through many branches of the Christian faith, and I have to say I had to get completely out of religion, out of the Bible, to find love,
Absolutely.
to find
I agree.
kindness, to find non-judgmental beliefs, because religion, specifically for me, the Christian religion taught me how to be judgmental. Oh, you're going to burn in hell if you don't do this, or you're going to do this if you don't do that. So I had to get completely out of religion to find the God consciousness within myself, to be able to love and express that love that I couldn't express in the faith.
Life-changing.
It's life-changing.
It's life-changing.
Yes, it is.
I've been there.
So I had to get out of religion to find my godness.
Absolutely.
My godhood.
As
However
strange
you
as
wanna
that may
say it, yeah.
sound. Yeah. As strange as that may sound. Absolutely. So, well, I'll tell you what, just keeping that in mind, let's, so Christianity is here on the list. This is the next one. And we'll do a little brief of it as far as the religion, cultural influence on the NDE. So that really refers to, Jesus himself. People seeing Jesus, and although none of us have ever seen Jesus, And one thing I don't understand is when you look you can even go on the internet, look this up. I mean, you've got all kind of different Jesuses. You've got the English Jesus, the American Jesus, the white Jesus, the black Jesus, the Japanese Jesus. So which one is Jesus? So that just shows that's the embodiment of this consciousness. That's how people relate to it. The truth is, you've never seen Jesus, so how do you know it's Jesus that you're seeing?
Right. Yeah. And I know the image that you're speaking about. I've seen that online myself, where it's a picture of Jesus in every culture, that there is a Jesus character. Yeah.
So that tells you right there, he's not a particular character, but he's personified as a person. But it's really
the consciousness.
That consciousness.
Yeah. I would like to bring this up. It just kind of caught my eye here. I still had the book open over here, the Parallel Sayings, and I'm going to throw this out there, and you just roll with it. What comes to your spirit? Okay. Jesus says from the Trimorphic Protonia, "I am she in whom all things came to be. I am movement of all that moves. I am mind that dwells in the light. I am invisible and manifest in all things. I am beyond measure, and there are no words which can describe me."
That's right.
So, I mean, that's the beauty of the NDEs. Everybody comes back and says, there's no words that can describe this experience, the love that's there, that light, that love that's there. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think you said it pretty well,
Well, it came from a book that, this is Jesus saying. So when you do the research, there's more than just the Bible out there to lead you to your Christ consciousness that each one of us have.
Right.
And that is what lives on, is that consciousness, not this physical, but our consciousness.
Which would be part, from what I understand, of the reason why I kind of touched a little bit on the reincarnation part earlier. This consciousness is you have to continue growing. And in this life, from what I understand, you're here to learn, to love, to grow.
Oh, yeah.
And when you have your NDE, it has a way of kind of letting you know where you're at in that level of things. Do you need to, you need to step up your game? How's it timed with perhaps your soul contract?
Yeah.
What is, so reincarnation does play a part of it. So. Not to get too off track, let me mention these left. We got 3 left right here. Number 8, Japanese culture. The Japanese NDEs are influenced by Shinto and Buddhist beliefs, actually, and they may involve encounters with deities or spirits and a connection to ancestral spirits. So number 9 would be the African traditional religions. Now, the NDEs in various African cultures, they can include encounters with tribal ancestors and spirits, as well as experiences of entering the spirit realm.
Through the spirit tree.
Absolutely.
I think of the Avatar.
Yep. And the last one on the list is Judaism. Okay, in Jewish NDEs, individuals may describe encountering divine beings, a sense of judgment, and sometimes discussions with deceased relatives or even rabbis. So what do you think about that?
I think that it all leads back to source.
Let's take hermetics for an example.
Hermetics.
The first principle of hermetics is that all is
Everything is
mind.
mind.
Everything is mind. Everything
Yes.
is this consciousness. Everything is, what people call God. We have to understand God is a word. Okay, it's just the word that we use to describe
Source.
the source of life, this love, this whatever, this consciousness, this reality that we all are a part of. And so many people get disillusioned that God is maybe this bearded old guy sitting on a cloud and a throne and, and judging everything and all that. That's not what it is. That's a lot of Catholic Church creation stuff there when you start talking about that kind of stuff. But no, you are God. You are source. You are all things. And all things is what we call God. If you feel comfortable calling it God, call it God.
Right.
Call it source. Call it source. You want to call it the I am? Call it the
universe,
I am.
whatever you want to
call
call
it. The
it.
universe. It doesn't matter what you call it. There is there. And I can take this light bulb right here and hand you this light bulb and hold it for me. Okay, hold this light bulb. Okay, now make it work. Make it shine. Why is it not shining? Because there's no source. There's no source to that. Okay, we have to understand that for anything to animate, to be real in this world, humans, animals, life, the sun, the moon, the trees, everything has to have a source because we are energy. Okay,
Exactly, yeah.
so we are all part of that source. That light cannot exist without source.
And these great teachers all knew that.
Absolutely.
And was trying to
And they're here
lead
to teach
mankind.
us
Yes.
the way to the source. Absolutely.
Yes.
And that was the beauty of the ones, like the ones like Jesus that was personified as Jesus, or the Buddha
Even
or
Yeshua's
Krishna.
own words in the Nazarene says there are many messiahs.
Yes, Jesus' own words.
Right there,
He said
you
there's
have
many,
many
many
sources
messiahs.
to lead you to the way back to source.
Absolutely. And there were many virgin births.
Oh, yeah.
There was, so all of these things that Christianity claims, was mostly stolen from
Other religions.
So
Oh, yeah.
like I said, the Jesus was actually created from the church. The Jesus that you know today, that you have to worship, go through him to get to God. No, the real Jesus, the real Yeshua taught that no, the God is within you. You are the source.
Yeah, that's why I was reading that from the
you
book.
have to
He
go
tells you
within,
that.
and to go with that thought, you have to understand that we are all source. We are both good and bad within us. Okay, the evil is within, just like the good is within. Let's say, for example, the yin and yang. Some people call it the yin and yang. With the yin and yang, it is the opposing forces that are of our realities, okay, that are opposing, but they're interconnected because they cannot exist without the other. One cannot exist without the other, okay? You've got the one, so like the yin that would represent the darkness and the
feminine side.
the feminine, correct. The yang, yang would be the more the white and the masculine, and the little circle that you see in the actual the logo or the emblem of the yin yang. It's just an emblem. It's just a symbol. Okay, that's not what it is. It just represents something. Okay, the little eye in each one of them represents each one of those opposites of that force. Okay, because in other words, what it means is you can't claim to be good without being evil at the same time, because good has no existence
Without evil.
Without evil. Okay, evil
vice
does not
versa.
exist without good. Light cannot exist without darkness. Okay, hot cannot exist without cold. These are the dualities of those.
This realm.
To look back to Hermetics, you're looking at the polarities.
Right.
It's all connected. We all have dark in us. We all have light in us. These great teachers, they master their way up to the ultimate consciousness and light, true Christ consciousness, and they come back and teach us how to become these
Aware
Christ,
of that.
how to become Christ,
All right.
by tapping into Christ consciousness.
And that's the beauty of the NDEs is once you have that crossover, the oneness that is within that spirit realm. I mean, that you literally get to hear and know every thought of everyone there, but yet it can be all individualized as well. You can tune into different ones, but it's like a 360 all around you of the awareness of the things that are there, the minds of others, the connectedness of everything and everyone there.
Everything. And that's what Christ is.
That consciousness.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And these great masters, they are here for us to learn these ways and to teach us. And it's our responsibility to grow. And that's how we become the spiritual beings and enlightened beings that we are supposed to be.
Yeah. These NDEs have really helped me to just gain in my knowledge even more than religion, I would say, because
I have to agree.
There's the beauty that comes back, the common thread through most every one of these is love, forgive, and be united. Be good to everyone. Be kind.
Absolutely. Don't harm another soul. Love with intensity. Be grateful. Have gratitude for everything.
Yes, that's
forgive
on
others
top, yeah.
who's ever, upset you, hurt you, harmed you, did anything to you. Forgive them. Let it go. Forgive yourself. Don't beat yourself up so much. Keep it light. I hear in a lot of these NDEs that the source laughs a lot. The source is very happy.
Yeah.
God is very happy. The creator, he laughs in different forms that he poses as. He's very lighthearted.
Yes.
In a way that we can't even comprehend.
You think of a child, how lighthearted most children are. They're happy and loving and caring. They're non-judgmental.
And think about this when we're watching our children, when they're little ones running around doing this and getting that, they can crack us up and make us laugh because we know, hey, they're little, they don't know any better. They're doing this and doing that, but they could think they're doing so. So that would be like that source to us, and like,
yeah, that's what I was going to say. These children are closer to source than any adult
because
ever
they
could
haven't
be.
been polluted by
haven't been tainted by the world,
yeah.
Their parents, their
concepts,
religion,
ideologies,
cultures, anything. They are close to source as a child.
And more pure.
Yeah, and that's beautiful.
It didn't get as pure as that.
And that's where we have to start taking pieces of us out. Say, nope, I don't need this. It's not good for me. It's not the betterment for me.
Or humanity,
get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
and that way you can
life.
better yourself. You can help others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So looking at the clock, we're got just a couple of more minutes left. We're going to go ahead and maybe wrap things up on this episode, and we'll pick up more on the next episode. But again, we want to remind everybody to stay close to these podcasts because we're going to start bringing in live interviews of actual NDEers and OBEers. And
the extraordinary
and absolutely the supernatural and the beyond belief, things like that. So we have some really cool people, really wonderful souls that we plan on bringing on and sharing with you guys. So I think that's going to wrap up this episode. Like I said, we just kind of wanted to touch on base to let you know that although all of these NDEs are something that we all have, okay, and many people have had them, and there's science to back it up, okay, this isn't just talk, but there's lots of extensive data over the past, I would say, probably 30, 40 years, easy, plus
50,
probably 50 years easy,
Dr. Moody
if
goes
you
back
want to
to
go
the
all the
70s.
way back, correct,
Yeah.
That's true, so 50, 60 years, who knows, as more of a science where they really started breaking it down and studying these things.
Dr. Long. Yeah,
Jeffrey Long with
he's
endorphin and things like that.
His is more from scientific doctor's point of view because he's a doctor.
Absolutely, and he's taken and what we're going to do is here soon on some of the near future episodes is we're going to take these NDEs ourselves, and we're going to start taking them and we're going to break them down. We're going to start reading these actual interviews ourselves. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And meanwhile, we'll be bringing in actual people themselves to give us their actual version. So the reason we're going to do that is because we're going to take and break down these elements as we share the NDE. We'll go back, and that way, as you hear these NDEs, you'll start realizing the structure and seeing, how it's made up. And you'll also see how, like this episode says, how actual religion
Plays as a part
and
of the
culture
NDE.
plays a part, because like I said, some see Jesus, some see Buddha, some see Krishna, some
It
see
depends on where you are in the world and what your religious
your
teachings
religion and your culture.
are.
That's right.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Miss Daphne. We appreciate you and all your wonderful comments there and interaction. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. And again, this is Ashton Lewis, and I appreciate you guys. We love you so much. We send our love and peace and blessings to you all. Until next time, take care.
Take care. Love you guys.